Well, welcome to your final leader session notes, and Bill and I are excited to kind of guide you through this final lesson to bring your group home strong and to make these 4 weeks kind of fit together well and tie a nice bow around this package.
Yeah, this will be a good wrap, I think, for you because it really starts to put a lot of what we've talked about into action. I think you'll enjoy leading this session.
One of the first things your group is going to be doing is they're going to be doing an exercise where they're going to be writing a name to a bunch of different characteristics of people who they feel play a strong biblical role in that particular characteristic. And what I want to encourage you to do is kind of help them to feel that you don't have to have a name into every spot. So let's let them know, hey, if they have a couple, that's okay. Yeah. But this is a critical strategic exercise because we're going to come back to this exercise as a place where they can look for someone to mentor them or help guide them or take them along the road.
Yeah, we wanted to kind of take it to a level where they weren't just looking at themselves, but sometimes service is easily identified in the life of another. We can really identify aspects of other people's lives, and so we thought that'd be a creative exercise for you to guide them through. Now, one of the other things we'll talk about in this section will be obstacles that get in the way of people serving. And you'll see that we get a little introspective there. We want them to look at things like fear and some of the stuff that can keep someone from stepping out and serving. Just pay attention to that as people talk and as they share and as they identify these. For some, it'd be really easy to talk about. Some might feel awkward talking about that. Don't be afraid to nudge people, draw them out. And sometimes the best thing a leader can do is share first their own and kind of set the tone. Because people wonder, where are you going with this and how deep should we go? But sometimes I know as a leader, if I say, you know, I've struggled with this. For example, I have some fears sometimes in this serving area, and here's one of my fears. Will I be able to do what they're asking me to do with this group of people? I don't know what it means to be poor, and I don't know, am I going to look like a fool or whatever? Yeah. If I set the tone, then others kind of open up a little bit. So as a leader, keep that in mind.
And know the exercise time is split up so that they will have, it's going to be a little bit different because we're going to give them alone time. So sometimes that alone time is some of the best God time you can get. Yeah. And then we're going to come out of that with a group time. Now make sure you know your group better than we do. So you'll know when to, if someone hasn't shared for a while, you may want to try and draw them out. If someone's been talking way too much, you may want to, gently lay the hand of God on them.
And what we do when people talk too much and take over a group is we change the meeting date and the time and we don't tell them. Yeah, that's kind of how we go about that.
That's a different leader tip. We'll talk to you a little bit later on. But for this one, just understand you're going to have alone time and some group time.
Yeah. We're going to talk about this heart and hands deal when we eventually get to sort of like how does a group become a serving community. And we're going to look at the heart, help them talk about where their heart is, help you as a group grow their heart, but also some very practical things. And we want to get across the point that when you serve, life change takes place in you, but in the group, correct? I mean, spiritual formation is a part of what takes place when people put their hands to work.
Yeah, when you start to actually move out of your meeting time into the field and you start to get out there and get your hands a little dirty, I just want to tell you from group experience after group experience, when your group starts to get to know each other in a different environment, because you've kind of known each other in this, and maybe if you've kind of gotten to meet with each other in some other places, but this is going to give you a different environment that is just going to shed some light on, you're going to see different aspects of people that you're like going, I didn't know you were like that, or I didn't know this
or you see their energy or a new gift show up or new passion that maybe they were quiet in discussion, but when it's about serving, boy, they're all in. So you'll learn a lot about your group.
Yeah. So each one of these things will play that part in the spiritual formation. Now, also understand that as we go through these first things, before we get to the wrap, we're going to be referring back to that exercise where people were writing names down, because we're going to want to draw from those people. So just, again, we're going to guide the group. We're going to help, we're going to be your best friend in this. But know that, don't let that just lie dormant. Be able to pick up on that and take your people to the next level.
And obviously, we'd love the payoff here, one of those to be serving together. And to the degree that you can do that, great. Don't get stuck on it, right? Don't get caught. Don't let the calendar be your enemy. Try to work something out. If you have to go out a couple months to put something together, okay, do that. but try to do something short term as well, even if it's a very simple thing of helping people serve around where you're meeting, or doing something at church in the coming weekend ahead that can be very short and very simple. The key is to get people using the devotionals, connecting with that whole idea of serving, and trying to find, even individually, practical ways to start to put truth into action, even if you can't get that date on a calendar right away. We'd love that, but we know that can be a challenge.
A great leadership tip is to make sure your group gets a win. So even if it's a couple people doing a simple exercise, that's a win.
And they can tell their story to the rest of the group, inspire the group.
Yeah, because you'll be able to come back to other stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I can guarantee you this group is going to say, hey man, I just want to be able to make this last a little bit longer than 4 weeks.
Couple final things. This is the end of your 4 sessions, and we want to help you bring this to closure in a way that you feel good about what's happened, the group feels good about what happened. And one thing is, again, get some kind of meeting again, even if it's not that serving meeting. Maybe it'd be good to just get together and have a dinner and tell some stories, or get together after church. Like we said, it'd be a great way to reconnect. Our goal would be that this group continues. We'd love to see you continue to guide the group. But maybe this is not going to happen for any number of good reasons. It may be just
Not
a good
good ones, but maybe.
4-week experience or so that people had. I think for many, you've already been leading a group for a while and it's going to continue. But there may be some who said, hey, this was a good first try. I'm going to pull back for a month or two, then maybe try again. But here's the thing I want is to end well. Unfortunately, every once in a while I come across a group that just sort of stops. I don't know if you've run into this, but I'll call a leader and talk to them and, well, did you have a final meeting? No, I just called everyone and we just decided not to meet. Why? Come together that one last time at least and say, hey, wasn't this great? What did we learn? Go back through the ahas that they've been writing down and look at the spiritual growth that took place. So even if it's over, it's a great way to celebrate what was learned and how people grew. And I guarantee they will remember that and they'll come back around again, either to be with you or others in some other kind of group experience.
A couple great tactical tools you can use on that is, one is just invite people over for a dinner. You don't have to, lay out the whole spread, but, it can be one where everyone just kind of signs up to bring something. But bring them together for a meal, but then in the meal, to share the ahas.
Do the stories.
They're
right.
coming for one thing, but you're helping to deliver another
Sure.
thing.
Yep.
Another thing, as you are prepping this last session, you might want to have an idea of a study you might want to do. So your group is going to be able to discuss this, and you want it to be somewhat collaborative. But a leader also is able to say, hey, let me bring this. It's easier for them to say, oh, I like that, or I don't like it. Or, as long as you bring something,
bring some options. Yeah.
They're looking to be led.
Yes.
So just go ahead and lead them. They may not be the right ones, but you may be surprised and maybe like going, oh, that's great. Or a lot of times they'll just say, I don't care, you're the leader. You just pick something. We just want to hang out.
And encourage them again to say, hey, I'd be interested in doing more of this. Check in with the group. Maybe we would encourage you at a session like this, when this last session is over, maybe tell people ahead of time, we're going to meet a little longer so they can plan for that, and allow an extra 15 or 20 minutes for the meeting after the meetings to kind of mill around. And then we can come up to people and say, so how was this for you? Maybe they won't share that in the whole group, but maybe they'd like to tell you something they'd like to do next, or next steps that they'd like to take. So allow a little time for that. The point is, be prepared to not just have the 4th session, but to prepare them to go beyond that, to celebrate what's happened, and to take next steps. Again, in the guide, you'll find great material and great resources that you can recommend. And as Steve said, bring some to the meeting. Say, hey, maybe we could do this next together. That would be great.
Well, it is going to be your final time, and both Bill and I just want to say, A, congratulations, but B, thanks for being used of God. You play more of a kingdom eternal role than you ever realized. You probably just said, hey, I just got a bunch of people together. And
I just led a group.
And I just played a DVD, but you did a lot more. And God has got you on an incredible journey. Embrace it, thank God for it, but know that God has got you on a spiritual formation path too.
Yeah, you grow more as a leader than sometimes I think you do as a group member. It's something that happens inside you when you choose to lead, and you're an answer to prayer. Jesus said in Matthew 9:35 and following that look at the harvest, he said, and pray that the Lord of the harvest would raise up shepherds, shepherd leaders, to tend to that flock. And you answered that call, and you're doing that work, and that's commendable, and it's the kind of work Jesus wants us to do, so we want to honor you for that. So thanks for being with us. Thanks for taking on this responsibility. We pray God continues to bless you and your leadership and your group.